Okay, everybody, let's take a couple seconds and jot down everything that comes to your mind when you hear the word geography. I'm going to tell you when to start and when to stop, and you can start right now. You have about 5 seconds left. Okay, wrap up that last word, thought, or idea and put your pen or pencil down. More than likely, your list started with the word map or maps. This is frequently what comes to our mind when we hear the word geography, right? World maps, globes, road maps. We also tend to think of the Earth's physical features like mountains and rivers and lakes and streams and all that great stuff. However, what I would like you to start doing as we get ready to learn how to teach geography is to think about 3 concepts that are at the heart of geography. And those 3 are place, relationship, and interaction. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about each one of these a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you in your small groups to brainstorm a list of current events that you think are aligned with or reflect one of these concepts. So the first one is place, and obviously it does have to do with location. Geographers want to know what is where. But when we think about location, it's not just in terms of maps on a broad scale. They want to know what is where. If we looked at the street corner, for example, the apartment, where there are apartments versus where there's a coffee shop and all that sort of stuff. So again, it's a different, thinking about it a little bit differently. And they want to know what is where in order to describe places in great detail. So once a geographer has determined or mapped, if you will, what is where, they want to understand the relationships and interactions that occur both within that particular place that they've just described and between that place and other places. So we're going to look at a series of images here that reflect either relationships or interactions both within and between different places and spaces in the world. And just to get you started thinking, like here, for example, what is where, a geographer might ask, like where are the slums outside of Mumbai? And then for what's important for them is to understand why are they there and why do I need to care about the fact that they are there in that particular place versus someplace else. So we'll look at a series of images here, this one from Northern Ireland. The next is our own border with Mexico, showing the wall. So again, what is where? A geographer would ask, well, there's a wall. Why is it there? And then why do we need to care about the fact that we've built a wall? This is what geography is about. Here we have an urban garden. So again, geographers would pose, well, why is that garden there? And that would help them understand the relationships between people in that community and maybe folks that own that land. Here we have a street fair. Again, why is the street fair here and not someplace else, and why do we need to care about it? So if you think about something like this, if a street fair is constantly, or a community event is constantly held in one place, right, it may provide access to it for some people, and other people would be denied access to it. So geographers want to know why something is where it is, and why we need to care about the fact that it's located there. Why does it matter, in other words? So if we think about interactions, that's another thing geographers are interested in. And again, that's both within and between different places and spaces. Here we can see the interaction between population, right, and the natural environment. We're dumping our garbage on the earth. Here's a more positive way of thinking about how we're interacting with our natural world, maintaining and creating green spaces within the earth and within urban contexts. We also tend to think about natural disasters like floods, tornadoes, all that sort of stuff. This is probably one that we wouldn't expect to see. However, a geographer would look at this and ask, where are the bike lanes in downtown Portland? Why are they located where they are? And why should I care? In other words, who has access to the bike lanes and the ability to ride their bike as a way to get exercise and to commute to and from work, right? So again, the big questions are, what is where, why is it there, and why should I care? There are 3 issues that are really at the core of geography. The first is trying to understand how the world and local communities are connected to each other. So that notion of interconnectedness, that what happens in your backyard has an impact on what happens in other parts of the world. They also, a thing that they wrestle with and are constantly trying to make sense of, is trying to understand how and why the world is changing. And then finally, they use that. For geographers, issue is, how do I use my new knowledge to solve problems? Whether those are social problems, like we talked about a little bit earlier, who has access to bike lanes so that they can ride a bike and be healthier and commute to and from work, or environmental problems, deciding where things should be located in a community and how that would impact the environment. So what I'd like you to do for the next couple minutes is brainstorm a list, like I said earlier, with in your small group, of current events that you think are linked to one of the 3 key concepts in geography: place, relationship, or interaction.